Shawshank if it was in a psych ward. Let's go. Welcome back to Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches. I'm Noah.
And I'm Richard. So, at my request, we are kicking off the new year with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I decided it was time to reach back into the Wayback Machine and pull a movie forward and take a look at it. And this is one that I have seen before, but to be honest with you, had forgotten a lot of what was inside of it.
Okay.
And I'm really glad we've rewatched this.
Okay.
So a 1975 movie directed by Milos Forman, based on a book by Ken Kesey. I have not read the book. I think I'm going to.
Okay.
Rewatching this made me want to. And this is a movie that won what's called the Big Five at the Academy Awards. This one at the 48th Oscar ceremony, Best Actor for Jack Nicholson, Best Actress for Louise Fletcher, Best Direction for Foreman, Best Picture, and Best Adapted Screenplay for Lawrence Halbin and Bo Goldman.
Okay,
right,
yeah.
So,
and it was also, it's funny that it's a 5-time winner at the Academy when you look up this movie on Amazon Prime, it says 6-time BAFTA winner, not 5-time Oscar winner. That's kind of crazy.
I didn't notice that, but
that's kind of crazy. Amazon, I don't think these things are. I don't think your priorities are straight.
I remember when this movie came out.
Okay.
And this was a movie for obvious reasons, my parents would, not even consider letting me, watch. I don't actually not even certain that they went to see it.
Okay.
But I saw this. I want to say 10 years ago-ish.
Okay.
And there's a new category. I don't know that we've really developed this in our discussion of what to do with the channel.
Yeah.
But I really think we should start a list of movies that you should see. I won't say movies that you must see, but
hey, would just call it movies that you should watch.
Yeah, it's
that works.
It's kind of like the
we make our business decisions on camera.
We do. The English canon, the list of books that you should read.
You should read,
right?
Yeah.
But if this would be my vote for first entry into that. If you
first entry,
yeah. Now, I'm not saying.
First entry in not top of the list.
Not top of the list. I'm saying
because I was about to say you're going to put this above Shawshank or Green Mile. Like, come on.
Yes,
that's what I thought you were saying. You're putting this above both of those.
I would put this above both of those, and I'll explain why here in a moment. And the other,
I don't know if I think we're entering heresy territory. This movie was good. I don't think it's Green Mile good, but.
So there's another movie that has been on our list of movies to cover for 4 years.
Yes.
And we have never gotten to it, and this movie reminded me of it.
Uh-huh.
And I'll explore that in just a little bit.
Okay.
But as one of those older movies that anybody who's younger than 1975, right, you need to find this movie and watch it.
Okay.
If you're a movie fan at all. But before I go into my reasons why, the question I am dying to ask.
Okay.
What did you think of this movie? What is your reaction to this?
It's funny. We have very different approaches to note taking.
Mm-hmm.
All right, unless it's something that I'm I can write out, and you'll see this in the episode we record next. But I can write out paragraphs of my thoughts and analysis on something that I'm really into. But if I'm just kind of casually watching something, it's mostly what my thoughts were as I was watching the movie, as just like, oh, this was funny, or this was this, or this was this. The first, I would say 30 minutes of this movie, I was kind of amused in that, like, I shouldn't be amused by this, but I'm kind of amused by this. I mean, I enjoy watching Jack Nicholson. He delivers fantastic performances. I'm not surprised that he won an Oscar for this. He had a massive widow's peak, though.
He's always had it.
I know, but it was like... It's good, but the movie, it made me mad. I could tell what it was going to do from the get-go. I saw 1975 Psych Ward, and I knew instantly the route that this was taking. The minute I saw what's her name?
Miss Ratched.
Well, yeah, Miss Ratched. What was her actress's name?
Louise Fletcher.
The minute I saw Louise Fletcher walk out in that nurse getup, that specific hairstyle with the cap and sitting with the little notebook, I knew from the get-go that I was going to despise anyone in the uniforms. I would despise the characters. Now, good on the actors, because, you know, it's good if your job is to make you not like the character and you succeed in that. And now I just really don't like watching you perform that character because you're so good at it. I despised her because there's nothing that pisses me off more in this world than what is supposed to be a healthcare provider gaslighting patients and moving goalposts. Despise that, which she does throughout the whole film. She constantly moves goalposts with the vote. She's like, oh, well, you need a majority vote. And then it's, well, I didn't tell you needed a majority vote out of the whole ward. You know, if he had gotten that one more vote, he would have turned around and she would have turned around and expanded to the entire hospital.
Right.
I'm like, you're a bitch. the word to adequately describe her is used multiple times. And now, that was the purpose. That's what the character was supposed to be doing. She's supposed to be the bitch. It's supposed to be that way. Patients in psych wards were absolutely horrendously mistreated a lot in the 1900s. It was bad. So it captures that really well. But yeah, I was kind of just annoyed and pissed off at these psych ward staff throughout 90% of the movie, because I'm just sitting here like, okay, so the dude who runs the whole place says that he's not crazy. He doesn't see any mental illness. I'm confused as to why he's still there. Does he want to still be there? Is he trying to prove a point? Is he just trying to write out what he thought was his prison sentence? It seems like that's what he was trying to do, is write out his prison sentence in a psych ward. That's what it seems like it was.
That's what he thought he was doing.
That's what it seemed like. But then I'm just like, why not just let him go? Why not just get him out of here? You don't want him here, and you say he's not, and he's just causing you trouble. Get him out of here. The entire movie could be solved by, oh, you're not mentally handicapped. You're not, you're not insane. You're not a nut job. All right, bye. The whole movie they would have saved themselves so much trouble if that had been their response. And I'm just like, I don't like bureaucracy. I don't like authority, and this movie brought out the worst of my feelings towards institutions.
Oh.
So overall, it did a good job. If that's what if they were trying to explore that. Yeah, my first note is, damn, that's a massive widow's peak. Christopher Lloyd, ? Christopher Lloyd is nostalgic because, grew up on Cyber Chase and Hacker.
Gotcha.
So that's always fun to see him in just about anything.
Right.
So
it's a very young Christopher Lloyd.
It's a very young Christopher Lloyd. You can tell it's in the 1970s because they're all chain smoking. And those actors aren't using herbal cigarettes. Those are straight. Those are actual Marlboros in the nurse's office. They just went down to the gas station and bought a carton. Also, you can tell it's a 1970s movie because they immediately called the Native American chief very casually, just right off the get-go. Mm-hmm. could have been worse. That's pretty tame for 1975 mindsets, I would say. It seemed like he was doing a better... The thing that was really annoying me is like he almost... Obviously, this dude has an ego, and he's trying to get through his prison sentence. 68 days left, but he's almost doing a better job at helping the patient. He is doing a better job of helping the patients than the institution is.
Yes.
And that's what's making me angry. Is that if there was ever a movie to turn someone libertarian, it'd be this one. And that is my one political joke. I'm not going any further. The funniest line in the movie was attend to Billy to match his wang. That was hysterical. It was right at the beginning of the movie. Mm-hmm. All right, there's the sex joke of the video. This dude obviously has some sort of problem because he is a gambler. So he has some sort of problem, but not a problem that they would have considered to be an actual mental illness or a handicap back in the day. Because he has anger issues. He has something wrong with him, but it's much tamer than what you see out of the other patients in the ward. He's like, everyone else seems like they would be ostracized if they were out in society, and again, I'm going through what I was thinking as I was watching the movie.
Sure. No,
all these other people feel like they might be ostracized if they were out on the outside, and he's like, no, let me help you. Let me show you. Let me just take you out and treat you like a normal human being for once, and make you feel alive and make you feel like a person again.
Right.
Which is
the whole purpose of the expedition.
Yes, the whole purpose of the expedition in the 50. He's a little bit of a control freak. And do all 70s movies like this, do all 70s Oscars winners have a sports scene? MASH had a big football game at the end. They spent a decent amount of time trying to play basketball in this one. Like, they spent a lot of focus on the basketball. They were like trying to shoot basketball action in this.
I think it doesn't cost any money to film basketball. It's believable that there would be a basketball court on the grounds of a mental institution, and you want to get your patients out and getting exercise. It's a perfectly legitimate place to have your story take place.
Yeah. Here's a thought. I went, damn, I'm kind of impressed that not only they had the guts to, but they got away with strangling a woman in a 70s movie. Because violence against women and children back in the day was a very, very touchy subject that a lot of media avoided. Very specifically, like, brutal. Like, you can't kill a child on screen, right? Like, you just can't. Typically, most movies will not do anything of the sort. You can't approach that subject.
Yeah. But women being killed on screen, that's not uncommon in Hollywood.
It's not uncommon nowadays, especially, but it's also not... You think back to like the black and white stuff when the monster would come out, and it might come out and like actually kill the dude, and the dude falls over on screen. Right. But you killed a woman. It was always fade to black.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That's why I'm like, okay, I don't know if this was where that was starting to shift.
I can't answer
into
that.
I don't know, but I was like, that was a
brutal scene.
I don't feel bad for her though. I'll be completely honest. I don't know if... Maybe I should be in that ward. I don't know. And then they straight up lobotomize him, which I saw coming. When the minute they pulled out the electrodes earlier in the movie and tried to shock therapy him, I was like, if this dude is not actually straight up lobotomized by the end of this movie, I will be shocked. And I was right. Because... 1970s, 1960s psych ward, that is exactly what they would do.
It was considered a legitimate form of therapy as you like to say, back in the day, since found out to be useless and barbaric and actually detrimental to the...
Very, yeah. You know, and then my big thing was, I saw, they call him Chief.
Bromden.
Is that Brompton?
Bromden. It's Bromden.
Bromden.
Yeah.
I liked him from the get-go. I didn't think he was going to be that important to the story, but I was pleasantly surprised that he was as important to the story as he was.
What did you think of his final act in the movie?
I loved it. I mean, Chekhov's gun, they set it up at the beginning of the movie, and then you see a big dude, and you're like, yeah. But I had completely forgotten about it by the time he did, but I saw him go into the room to rip out the thing and throw it through the window, and I knew what he was going to do, but I was like, I like the fact that they went with him as the character to do that instead of any of the other ones.
But I was talking about his final act with McMurphy.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I'm gonna put it this way.
Were you surprised by it?
No.
Okay.
Because the minute he came back, I was like, they actually got him this time.
Right.
And that's what he would have wanted.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he probably would have wanted it from Bromden?
Probably.
Yeah.
So
I am completely surprised by your reaction, but I did not spend any time wondering. I've just been waiting. I've been excited. I've been waiting for this for a couple of weeks now. No, really, truly, because McMurphy, Jack Nicholson's character, Chief Bromden, and Max Tabor, Christopher Lloyd's character, the only three members of that psych ward that were institutionalized against their will.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, what did Chief Bromden do to get in there? And of course, he's got everybody convinced that he's deaf and dumb. Mm-hmm. And which
Pinball Wizard.
Well, it earns him the respect of McMurphy. I mean, McMurphy just absolutely loves that about him, that he's met someone who's successfully pulled one over on all the doctors.
Well, right? and the thing is that McMurphy liked him from the get-go. Like I liked the fact that at the beginning that he was instantly trying to like connect with the other people that he was there with.
So
maybe for some sort of selfish gain, but like he to put himself in a good position where people liked him, but like he genuinely was trying to teach Chief how to play basketball, and I was like, oh, this is nice. This is really nice. This is sweet. I like this. This is kind of heartwarming. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then you see the relationship build, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. Okay, this is nice. This is saving me from the rage. This is
saving me from the rage. Wow, this one really got under your skin. So
it's a simmer. It's a simmer.
I'd hate to see what a full rage is. Anyway, this is the second movie that comes to mind where I took a look at it and said, you can kind of say that there is an antagonist in this movie, but I actually don't think there is. I think this is a movie that explores a situation, and if you look at it through the lens, the story takes place in 1963. So if you look at it in the lens of 1963, every person in this story is doing what they think is best, to the best of their ability, including Miss Ratched.
Yes.
Now, is Miss Ratched a nice person? No. She's really not. She's kind of nasty.
No. Yeah.
But does Miss Ratched believe she's doing the right thing? Yeah, she does.
She does.
And
there's a lot of people that could be said about.
Well, but see, I think this is the beauty of this movie, is that you have this situation that very definitely has, dare I say it, a tragic ending. Based on our conversation earlier, it does have a tragic ending.
It does.
But there isn't a single character that you look at in the movie and say, this character is the good guy, the hero, the protagonist who should survive.
I wouldn't say that. I would say there's not technically a bad guy or a villain. I think she is definitely the antagonist because he is the protagonist of. And if we're talking about it as she's the foil, she's the obstacle, she's the character that is his blockade that he has to, get through. Yes. She is definite, and she definitely serves the role of antagonist towards all of them. If you view it from the perspective of Murphy.
I just realized as we're talking here, if you haven't seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you might not understand any of this.
Yeah, we didn't do a recap. We just kind of went right into it.
So, 15 minutes in, Nicholson plays Randall Patrick, or R.P. McMurphy, who is a prisoner who's sent from prison to a mental institution to be evaluated as to whether or not he is crazy. And he goes into this institution and meets a bunch of people who have genuine problems. Mm-hmm. And he tries to navigate his way in this institution because he almost, from the minute he walks in, realizes that there's I don't want to say a miscarriage of justice. He doesn't understand what's going on in there, but he firmly believes that what is going on is wrong.
Yeah.
And, of course, he can't possibly understand what the doctors and the nurses and the other caregivers deal with on a daily basis. So he kind of screws up the system. And they have this perfect little world. Miss Ratched has control of this world where she believes she's helping patients, and everybody's going along and they don't have any real problems. And in comes a guy who stirs the pot.
Yeah.
But McMurphy looks like he's a character that stirs the pot in any situation that he's in.
Yes.
He definitely, I don't think he's an evil person, but
he's not a good guy.
No,
he's not a hero. He's not a good person.
No,
overall.
He's not even an anti-hero.
No.
He's
just a flawed human being.
A very flawed human being.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that we find out is he's in prison because he was convicted of statutory rape. Mm-hmm. And watching him.
That's a word I have to learn to censor properly. YouTube's gonna hate that. Let's go.
Yeah,
don't worry. There'll be a censor beep.
Okay, so censor beep that one out of there. It's not statutory that's the problem.
No.
It's ape. Yeah. All right. I forgot about that. So, as he explains, and he looks at this doctor, and he's he sounds perfectly rational. He's saying, well, she was 15, but she told me she was 18. And Doc, if you saw her, you'd,
that line, I was like, oh, boy.
But again, this movie can't be viewed through the morals and the values and the perspectives of 2024.
Well, I don't even think if you viewed it from the morals and perspective of 63 or 75. You would be on his side.
No, you wouldn't.
Or you shouldn't be on his side when you're doing it from there. You shouldn't believe that he is inness of any wrongdoing.
No, and that's not the point I'm making.
Yeah.
But the point I'm making is you kind of roll with it because there's so much more of an outrage nowadays than there was when this came out.
Yes.
Right? And there was a certain level of wink, wink, nudge, nudge in the male community that was accepted. Yeah. Look at the doctor's reaction to the story.
Yeah, the doctor is completely unfazed by it.
He is completely,
Yeah, and that's what gives you the sense that this doctor's a bit of an ass too.
Well, see, and that's the beauty of this movie is that you've got a case study of a scene you don't. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're exploring these things and seeing how all these different people with all these different issues and perspectives are reacting to it.
Yeah. And then you find out that a lot of these people, the vast majority of the characters are in this mental institution voluntarily by choice.
And they could just leave whenever. However, they can't. And the thing that I picked up on, I realized, they're like, yeah, we're here voluntarily. Notice who forces them to say that. The person who is making it impossible for them to leave the institution.
Yes.
The institution doesn't want them to leave.
They probably shouldn't. I mean, look at...
they're not...
So
obviously they're not getting better; they're getting controlled. But
I'm not entirely certain in 1963 anybody got better in those situations.
No one did.
The
success rate. There's a reason there were so many serial killers back in the day.
Danny DeVito's character, and here's the other thing. One of the things that impressed me about this movie is you take a look at
completely didn't realize that was Danny DeVito when I first saw him until he was standing next to Jack Nicholson in complete shot. Because I was just difference? Yeah. That's what gave it away. But I was like, oh crap, that's Danny DeVito. Well, you told me he was in this movie. I was looking for him and he was right there, and I'm like, where the hell is Danny DeVito?
Nicholson, Fletcher, DeVito, Lloyd. I mean, these names pop out. These are early things. Now, I think the aspect of this movie that makes that cements Miss Ratched as really an unpleasant person is when Billy Babbitt, the young kid, who has a hard time relating to women, and he stutters and he lacks self-confidence, and McMurphy sneaks two women. What?
When she... Keep going.
McMurphy sneaks his girlfriend and another girl into the mental institution, and his girlfriend actually takes a liking to this kid.
Yeah.
And McMurphy convinces her to sleep with Billy Babbitt, and they get caught in the morning.
Yeah.
But you can see that there's a little bit of a connection between the two of them. But when Miss Ratched starts to chew him out, she uses shame. She goes to shame.
Yeah, she goes to shame.
And she destroys him by shaming him. And then you find out that she knows Billy's mother.
Yeah, and that's the other part that got me, like, you should be in jail.
Yeah.
You should be in jail. You should be in all the jails. Because that's illegal. That's highly illegal. You shouldn't have a person. You can't use if you have a personal connection with a patient, first off, that's a bit of a conflict of interest.
Right.
It shouldn't be that way. You should not have a super friendly relationship. And you definitely should not use your personal relationship to your patient for your own gain.
Well, you know what? The reason why all of those rules are in place now in 2024 is because situations like this existed in 1963.
Was this just supposed to be an expose movie?
I've got to read the book. No, it wasn't an expose movie. I've got to read the book.
Because it works as one.
Well, yes,
it works very well as one that exposes the flaws in that system back then.
Well, so the interesting thing...
I wonder if the book was supposed to be,
the difference in the way we look at the movie, I'm looking at it just purely cinematically, and you had a very visceral reaction to the storyline.
It's my worst nightmare. God.
So Ratched absolutely destroys Billy and shames him and says, "What is your mother going to say?" And she is cruel and heartless. But as I'm watching that, people like that have existed time immemorial.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just it just goes on forever. There are people like that, and they're just unpleasant people.
Mm-hmm.
They're self-righteous, and they're judgmental, and she obviously enjoyed her power.
Yes.
Clearly.
Incredibly well acted by. Again, I'm just going to say, incredible job done.
Did you notice in the opening scene where she appears, the little box of the information box in the upper left-hand corner of the screen that Amazon puts up those little info boxes about the actors, and it said that one of the things that Louise Fletcher, the actress, hated about this movie was that she couldn't cut up and laugh and joke and have fun like all the male actors could. You imagine all of those actors on set, they were probably cutting loose. They were probably having a lot of fun, and she couldn't. So on the last day of filming, she walked on set in a bra and panties just to break the mold of her character and to shock everybody and to let everybody know that she could have fun too.
Okay. I mean, that's not an uncommon occurrence. What was it? It was Saving Private Ryan, was it, that all the actors had to go through a boot camp except for, is it Matt Damon's character, I believe?
That's not Saving Private Ryan. It was.
I think it was supposed to be
Band of Brothers. Everybody went through a boot camp together except for David Schwimmer's character.
Well, I think they did it for Saving Private Ryan as well. I think they used that same technique for that as well, so that the actors.
Wait, yeah, no, never mind, my mistake. Saving Private Ryan. I got the right movie. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the guy that they save in the movie did not have to go through that, which made the actors already not like him.
Gotcha.
As just an actor, because he got special treatment, so it makes their performances a little more raw, a little more real.
Yes.
So yeah, I that's not an uncommon occurrence to hear come out of a set, but that's funny.
So
that's funny.
All right, you said Private Ryan, and I heard Private Benjamin.
Oh,
Goldie Hawn, 1980, and I'm just like, I think that movie was made me, a little. Yeah, okay, brain misfired there. Anyways, I love this movie.
Okay.
I love the crafting of the movie. I love the writing of the movie. I love the performances of the movie.
It's very well acted. It's a very good script. Yeah.
And I think if you're a fan of movies, this is on a list of you should see this movie.
Yes, I think it should be watched. Don't be radicalized, though. It might be a little too far gone.
But that's it. Yeah, I've just really been looking forward to this one. This was good.
I mean, I can see why. Yeah, this. But yeah, very just blood pressure was just. anytime a staff member was on screen, it was just. I was satisfied every time he threw a punch. I was so satisfied. I'm like, you deserve that. Like, let's be real. You deserved that. All of you deserved that. He deserved getting punched too. I get it.
I would really, really love it if you have not seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest to watch it. And come back and leave comments on this one and join the conversation. And if you have seen it, I would really love to read what your thoughts are. You know what it is? You know what I think it really is?
Sure. I think the reason why I'm not as angry about Murphy being a piece of shit is that he's set up as a piece of shit from the beginning. I expect him to be an asshole. I think they set the expectation that this guy is not a good person. Blah, blah, blah. I'm already going into it with the expectation that this is not a good person. He's going to do bad things. So when he does it, it doesn't bother me because I already knew that he was going to do that. But when people who are supposed to be trying to help other people are not doing that, I think that's what got me. I'm just like,
Well, yeah, I get that, but the interesting thing is...
I think that's what it is.
Murphy sees injustice, he recognizes injustice, and there is a spark of compassion in him.
They do add extra stuff like that to make him likable. You have to. Otherwise, he is just a total and complete asshat that you're supposed to root for. You have to give that spark of like, okay, this guy can be a nice guy.
Right.
This guy can care for other people. He's not completely out for himself.
Right.
So you have to have that to make it. It's what you do when you take. It's what makes charismatic asshole characters likable. There has to be that spark of compassion and charisma. So, but I expect him to not be a good person. And then these people are like, we are the good guys. And you're not. And I'm just like, aha.
They were a product of their education, training, and time.
Yes, they were. And that's You're just adding more fuel to the fire. I could go on, but we will end it.
I wonder how much of the difference is that I lived through part of that era and you didn't. I wonder if that changes perspectives.
Well, I don't know. I've had experience not in his shoes, but
Right.
in similar situations. You know, I've been in situations like that.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm like, maybe I'm holding some grudges from the past. I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like fodder for a therapy session.
Camera's not therapy, so subscribe to this channel so that I can pay for therapy.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of Pork Chops, Rice, and Peaches.
And we'll see you next time.